I thought I was getting a tour of an ancient Chinese imperial palace. You know, grand halls, serious ministers, an emperor sitting on a dragon throne while everyone debates matters of state. Instead, I uncovered Big Zhao's secret treasury, got recruited by the imperial government, fought a legendary swordswoman from Chinese folklore, and somehow ended up battling Big Zhao's younger self. So welcome to Kaifeng Imperial Palace and Where Winds Meet. Let's take the tour. Our first stop is Chongyuan Hall, the most important ceremonial hall in the entire palace. Coronations happened here. Major celebrations happened here. Foreign envoys were received here. If something affected the whole empire, it happened in this building. Which makes it incredibly funny that one of the first things you'll encounter here in Where Winds Meet is a Nuo ritual performance. Nuo rituals were ancient Chinese ceremonies meant to drive away evil spirits. People wore masks, danced to the rhythm of drums, and performed symbolic acts of purification. Apparently, before running the country, somebody had to make sure the ghosts had been dealt with first. Next, we head to Chongde Hall. This was where Big Zhao gathered his officials to discuss military affairs, taxation, disasters, and whatever crisis happened to be threatening the empire that week. The more time you spend here, the more you realize that office culture hasn't changed much in 1,000 years. Some officials work hard. Some desperately try to impress the boss. Some complain about being overworked. And somebody is definitely trying to make their problem become someone else's responsibility. I'm sorry. Wenming Hall served as the empire's actual workspace, where memorials were reviewed and administrative decisions were made. If Chongde Hall was where people argued about problems, Wenming Hall was where somebody had to stay behind and actually deal with them. Up until this point, though, you're still just a tourist. That changes very quickly. Because eventually, you'll find yourself working for the Wood Division. Historically, the Wood Division was responsible for palace security. In Where Winds Meet, it functions somewhere between royal bodyguards, intelligence agents, and the world's most overworked office department. You didn't apply for this job. But congratulations, you're now employed by the imperial government, and your first assignment is investigating the theft of Big Zhao's secret treasury, which brings us to Sealed Treasury. Sealed Treasury wasn't just Big Zhao's secret savings account. According to the story, he had been quietly setting money aside for years in the hope that one day the lost 16 prefectures of Yanyan could be recovered, which means Big Zhao was literally trying to buy back part of the country. As the investigation unfolds, you'll eventually encounter one of the most fascinating characters in the entire Kaifeng storyline, Jingyang. If you're not Chinese, this might just sound like another NPC name. It isn't. Jingyang comes from a Chinese folktale that has been passed down for centuries. Long before he became emperor, Big Zhao was simply a wandering hero. According to the legend, he rescued Jingyang after she had been kidnapped by bandits and escorted her safely back home across hundreds of miles. At this point, you probably think you know where this story is going. This is usually the part where the hero gets the girl. It doesn't happen. When Jingyang's family proposed marriage, Big Zhao refused. He believed that if he accepted, his actions would no longer be an act of righteousness. He had rescued her because it was the right thing to do, not because he expected something in return. And so they parted ways. No wedding, no happily ever after. Years later, Jingyang returns in Where Winds Meet, and the question isn't whether Big Zhao remembers her. The question is whether he's still the same man she once knew. What follows is one of the coolest sequences in the entire Kaifeng storyline. A rooftop chase across the Imperial Palace, running over tiles, jumping between rooftops, trading blows high above the capital. Because even within the highest walls of the empire, Zhongwu never truly disappears. And just when you think you've figured out what kind of story this is, the palace gets weird again. Our final stop is Shuzuik. Unlike the halls we've visited so far, this isn't a real place within the palace complex. It's more like a nightmare made real, and waiting for you at the end is Big Zhao himself. Or rather, the version of Big Zhao from long before he became emperor. The younger Big Zhao is nothing like the warm, approachable ruler you've come to know throughout the Kaifeng storyline. He's aggressive, impulsive, fierce. He charges into battle with a dragon staff in hand and fights with the intensity of someone who still has everything to prove. which is probably the biggest surprise Kaifeng Imperial Palace has to offer.
小之徒。